welcome back to Zero Sum Gaming here at the Culture Cache. We've received another donation this week. This one comes from Joe from Nashville, Tennessee. This is a game that's one of the granddaddies of the dungeon crawler subgenre. Thanks, Joe. Now let's check out the game.
This game is a trip down memory lane for me. I used to play it with my sisters often growing up. We would try to work together, and were reasonably good at doing so, but we had countless arguments along the way. The younger of my two sisters, who was more often my companion playing this game, nearly always chose to play as Thor, while I usually opt for either the speedy Questor or Merlin, so I was always forced to slow down to Thor's plodding speed, and I regularly voiced that as we played. If she's watching this video right now, I'm sure that she just chuckled at remembering this as well. On the surface, Gauntlet appears to be a pretty simple game, and for the most part, it is. The story pretty much consists of Morak, the villain you never actually encounter, stealing an orb, and you have to get it back. That's really it. The A button is your regular attack, B is for magic. If you never played the arcade games though, or any of the sequels, you might not realize that just walking into enemies is your melee attack. The limitations of the NES meant that this game doesn't actually animate your melee attacks, so not all players are savvy to this option, but it is there, and sometimes it is your best course of action. There's a funny trick you can do with ghosts in this game. You can't damage ghosts with melee attacks. So far so good, right? They're ghosts. Here's how you can turn the tables. Hold the A button. That's all you have to do, just hold the A button. There's a 99% chance that ghosts won't be able to damage you so long as you keep the button depressed. Just look at how many times I get hit by ghosts right here, but none of them are dealing their normal 9 points of damage. There's some decent character progression for a game like this. As you collect more treasure, your max HP increases. You can also find 5 different special potions which each permanently add to your melee damage, shot damage, magic range, armor, or speed, though you can only add to each of these stats once, so if you're playing with 2 players, remember to distribute them accordingly. There's also little reason to give Thor damage increasing potions, because he one-shots everything in the game except the last boss, so unless you come across 2 of them, you should always give those to the other player. And that's not just a big brother rule from the years of playing with my little sister, it actually makes strategic sense. I've always thought the voice you hear when the guys pick up food sounds like they've been holding in a fart for a really long time and they finally decided to let it fly. It's that sound of pure relief. Make no mistake about it, this is a difficult game. You are basically always getting swarmed by enemies. Even if you manage to defeat them all without taking a single hit, the fatigue feature means you still lost significant life during combat. While some levels are quite straightforward and simple, others are rather taxing puzzles. Once you've managed to kill every enemy in the level, you still lose health from fatigue, so you are still in danger. Exits may be hidden inside destructible walls or other tricky places like that. All of your resources are limited, including your health, and yes, in this game your health is definitely a resource. How you manage your life, keys, and magic will determine your level of success in this game. Each level is pretty short, consisting of about only 4 screens worth of space. Still, some of them have you running around in increasingly maze-like settings, so they often feel much larger than that. You want to finish each level as quickly as possible, because your health is always slowly ticking away. Your goal is to get to the exit in each level, although perhaps I should have said get to an exit in each level instead of the exit, because many levels have multiple exits. This means you not only have to know your way around each level, but also you have to navigate how the levels fit together in the larger realm of the game. Speaking of which, there are 5 realms in this game. They do provide you with a rudimentary map in between each level, but it is pretty tough to decipher. Just because 2 levels are adjacent on the map doesn't mean that they're actually connected. For that matter, just because levels are connected doesn't mean you necessarily want to go that way. When I was growing up, I always thought these jugs were chickens. It wasn't later until I played the arcade game that I realized they were in fact jugs. It never made any sense why shooting a chicken would somehow destroy it. Now it makes a whole lot more sense. If you spill all the liquid everywhere, you obviously can't drink it. Most rooms are of the normal variety. Kill monsters and generators, collect treasure and items, get to the exit. However, there are two special types of rooms that are incredibly important if you plan to finish the game. The first is the treasure room, depicted on the map by a coin icon. These rooms are loaded with treasure, and on the surface, that's the only point to them. But in reality, they serve far greater a role. You're timed in treasure rooms. If you don't find the exit within 30 seconds, the game kicks you out, and you proceed to the next level. If you do find the exit in time, your health is restored to full, and the game provides you with a password so you can resume your quest later. This means that treasure rooms are not only the most reliable way to keep your character alive, but also the only means of saving the game. Thankfully, treasure rooms are usually only about 4 levels apart, so you can pace your HP accordingly. The other special type of room in the game is the clue room. You can see these on the map as question marks. There are 8 of them in all, but you're only forced to visit 1 during normal gameplay. The rest, you're going to have to go out of your way to figure out how to get to. The casual player can simply ignore these, since the vast majority of people are never going to finish this brutally difficult game. But if you plan to see it through to the end, you must visit all 8 clue rooms. Like treasure rooms, you are timed here. You have 99 seconds to find the clue and then exit. If you fail to do so, the game sends you on your merry way regardless. Each clue is one of the 8 characters that you need for the vault combination that allows you to enter the final level of the game, level 100. If you fail to enter the correct combination, you die. There are 32 different possible combinations the game can generate, so you must write down these clues each time you play the game. Unfortunately, this is a great time to talk about some of the flaws the game has. I say there are 32 different possible vault combinations, but really there are only 31. Your vault combination is directly tied to the first character of your password. If the game gives you a password that starts with the letter A, you may as well start over now, because the vault combination it gives you will not be accepted when you get to the end. And yes, the game will distribute A passwords. Wouldn't you hate to trek all the way to level 100, only to realize that it was all for naught? Speaking of which, while there are treasure rooms after level 79, and they will heal you if you make it to the exit in time, the game will not let you resume from any of them, meaning that you always have to play the entire 5th realm no matter what. By this point, the enemies are truly fierce, and can tear apart even Thyra in a matter of seconds. One wrong move and it's back to level 79 for you. And that wrong move may not even be combat-oriented. Whether it's by design or error, there is no exit to level 96. So if you find yourself there, you're toast. Similarly, level 27 and a few others have moving blocks. You can push them around on your own, or if you don't touch them, they slowly, constantly travel southward by themselves. It is entirely possible for these blocks to wind up permanently obstructing your path, leading to your slow, painful demise from the fatigue feature. You could argue that traps like these fully fit the theme of the game, and frankly, you'd be right. But they're extremely frustrating when they affect you. None of these problems are game-breaking, but they make an already difficult game significantly harder, and force some trial and error into an otherwise skill-based game.
Alright, so what's the verdict? This game only goes for about $9, and honestly, how can you go wrong with $9? I mean, come on. Even if it's a terrible game, it's probably worth at least close to that. And the good news is, this isn't a terrible game. It's a good game, but it is a hard game. I played this game a lot growing up, But full disclosure, I didn't beat it until I just captured the footage for it for you guys a few minutes ago. You're gonna die, and you're gonna die a lot. But if you persevere, you will eventually see that glorious single screen ending. Thanks for watching.